What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. I want to thank each and every one of you guys again for joining us for another Sunday Stock Talk. I have about, I think, 5 seconds before everyone starts joining live. But for those that are watching this for the first time, we go live every Sunday at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time, and we pretty much talk about last week's trading. We talk about this upcoming week and what to look out for. I answer a couple questions that you guys post within the live stream, and then I go over and perform some technical analysis in stocks that my group within TechBot Solutions chose to do. So I put a poll, and then everyone decides on what stocks you guys want me to analyze, and it's really just that. So pretty much these whole videos, one of the biggest things that I want you guys to to learn, right? If you guys are just getting into penny stocks, since I know I do attract a lot of attention to those members, I want to make sure that I lead by example, and I want to make sure it's clear that if you guys are trading for the first time, never trade based on anyone else's opinion. So that is the #1 rule. We've had many rules before, like only trading stocks that have 10% potential, never holding a true penny stock overnight, because you can't control how much money you can lose, and you can ask any trader about that, and as well as always have a stop loss. Now, one that I would like to add to that is only trade based on your own. Like, make sure you don't trade based on anyone else's opinion or suggestion. That if someone suggests, oh, maybe take a look at this stock, there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you see potential in it, as long as you can minimize, create a whole plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you would cut your losses, again, managing your risk. If you could make sense of the trade and why it would be, there's always risk when it comes to investing, and you have to understand that. That's why, some people never really succeed in the stock market, because they don't know how to manage the risk, and there's a lot of other reasons, right? But it comes down to understanding what you're investing in, and if you don't understand, there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you're gonna have to study and work a little bit harder, and I hope that makes sense to you guys. But again, I want to make sure that I lead by example. Now that we broke the 20,000 subscriber mark, we're, I think, almost at 22,000 subscribers. I want to make sure that it is 100% clear. There's a lot of people that comment that always have my back, and there were a couple. Well, I don't want to bring too much attention to this, but I wanted to thank each and every one of you guys that supported me when it came to, there's certain things that was said about me that I charge a monthly subscription or something like that, and with the spammer that we encountered last week as well, asking for people to reach out to him and using my name in my profile. I feel like as we continue to grow, we're gonna encounter more of these people, more haters, more just people that don't want this group to succeed for whatever reason, whatever their reason may be. I want to make sure that I lead by example and I make it clear. A lot of people find my content very repetitive, but it's because there's a lot of newcomers that end up joining our live streams, end up joining, just watching my videos. And I want to make sure that if they're watching it for the first time, that they understand the principles of what we go after. And there's the 3 rules that we have: never trade based on anyone else's opinion, and be open to networking, sharing best practices, and sharing mistakes, because overall, that's the whole point of this group. We provide a very supportive community, and I want to encourage each and every one of you guys within the TechBot Solutions platform. Again, the link is provided for you down below. You simply have to have a Facebook account, and then you just ask to join our Facebook group. That's all it is. And then there's on the top pin post links to the group chats that we network and share ideas and stuff like that. The reason that this group is so useful, and the reason it's so, I believe, powerful, is because of our supportive and welcoming environment. And I know, after speaking to a number of you, actually over the phone and just jumping on certain calls with a number of you, one of the biggest things that you guys always say is thank you for everything that you do, so accessible, and thank you for, in a sense, sparking this interest in my life. Again, I'm not doing anything special. I'm not telling you guys what to trade. I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is I'm providing a platform that goes by one rule, and we're here to help one another out and to provide a supportive community. And I hope you guys understand that, and I hope you guys see how powerful that is, because it's that spark that someone needs to, in a sense, get started in this market of investing, entrepreneurship, business, whatever it is, especially at a very young age. If we can spark that interest and cause that change for someone to open their mind into a potential venture that they weren't aware of, but now because of this group, they're exposed to a potential venture that they understand and they see potential in, and they later choose to pursue, and they become successful. That's what this group is for. Everyone's not going to be successful in penny stocks, and that's nothing that we can really control. but we are here to provide the best and the most welcoming environment that I hope you guys, enjoy. And that's why I encourage so many suggestions. I encourage you guys to reach out to me within the Technical Solutions group chat, not through the Facebook platform, not through anything else, just message me there, because that's where I answer. I am a little bit backed up about 24 to 48 hours, even with the group chat, but I'm trying my best to develop this platform as we are about to launch, hopefully by the end of this month or the start of this upcoming month, so July, to provide a platform and continue to develop a platform that is going to be perfectly made for you guys and uniquely made for your guys' needs. So for all those that are saying, well, I don't like this about your platform, I think that, we should do this, let me know. I encourage everyone. It doesn't cost you anything to reach out to me. You simply have to have a Facebook account, and you can direct message me there, but it's going to be a little bit harder since I just started this giveaway that I got 410 DMs, and a couple of them are DMs from before, but it says I have 410 messages. I'm going to dedicate this upcoming week because I have so many flights that I'm going to be having to catch, and I want to make this clear. This is something that I want to talk about before we get into the whole trading thing. Is I'm taking a trip to visit my girlfriend in Spain. I'm going to spend some time with some YouTubers in Barcelona, and then I'm going to go to another city in Spain. And it's going to be this travel and trade series, but I want to do it different than I think everyone else does it. And this is why I think, this group is so powerful. It's because we're so supportive with one another. A lot of you guys, if you guys have watched any of my videos, you guys know what it is that I do. I have a normal job. I'm a full-time student. I have a couple different businesses. Some are profitable, some are not. They're just, and I love helping people. That's why I have this platform. I'm in the development of still creating the platform, but it allows me, because I can day trade. Again, it's not my only source of income, and I don't want to promote this get-rich-quick scheme or this fallacy that simply by trading penny stocks that you can travel the world and everyone can do it, because realistically, the way that I trade it, only dedicating 2 hours, the amount of risk that I do usually per trade with my normal account of $3,000, you can make a good enough living. But it's not what allows me to travel. I never really ever travel, so I don't want to say that this is always what I do. So I'm going to do this series of being able to, travel and trade and make money while I'm traveling. But in no way do I want you guys to be misled, because I'm always going to talk about in every single video that this isn't the lifestyle that I always live, but it's a certain blessing that I'm able to have because I do so many things on the side. And I hope you guys understand that. There's nothing wrong with, for those that tell you, no, you can't have a normal job. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you enjoy what it is that you're doing. If you want to work towards a stable income, there's nothing wrong with that. But is there anything wrong with working towards, having an extra stream of income or extra streams of income that can allow you to, have a little bit more of a cushion in your life when it comes to real estate investing, when it comes to, having a little side hobby and flipping cars, flipping motorcycles, or trading penny stocks or trading stocks or long-term stocks, whatever it is, that there's so many things that you guys can invest in, that I'm only covering what it is that I do. And there's always going to be a lot of backlash with whatever it is that I'm talking about, but I want you guys to understand that there's nothing wrong with having a normal job. There's nothing wrong with having a stable source of income, and that's why I still have mine. The reason I have mine is because I still need to qualify for my investment properties for the loans, because I can't buy these houses that are $300,000 to $400,000 cash. I don't buy multi-million-dollar homes, but I understand realistically, based on my current position, that I need a stable source of income to qualify for this. I do extra single sides, which pay for my expenses, which allow me to live, a little bit better, right? I want to say than the normal person, but in no way am I going to be promoting a get rich quick scheme. So I hope you guys understand that, and I'm going to be talking about at the end of every single video that this is what I can do, because I can make a little bit of money while I travel and trade, and it's just a luxury, right? A true blessing that because of the connection to the internet and with the proper knowledge of understanding what I'm investing in, again, understanding what you're investing in. If you don't understand, then you shouldn't trade or invest in, if you don't understand that this house that I'm living in, if I'm trying to sell it to you for $1 million, it didn't cost me $1 million. It's not worth $1 million. Why would you pay $1 million for it? If it's almost that same, type of way in the stock market. For a lot of penny stocks, they're overinflated, they're overhyped. And for those that can get manipulated into investing in those overpriced stocks, if you don't understand that it's a good buy, and you can't make sense of why it's moving, there's nothing wrong with not investing in it. And I hope you guys understand that. And that's one of the biggest things that I think has really made this transition for members that watch my videos, And it's kind of like I've been going live, and I go live 30 minutes, before the market opens. So it's called pre-market hours. And then I go about 15 minutes to 25 minutes after the market opens, and then I continue with my day. And it allows people to capture my whole thought process when deciding what stocks to invest, creating plans for each and every one of those stocks. And if I end up making the decision to invest in those stocks, then you guys see it live. Do I always make money on the stocks that I trade? No, and you guys see that. Do I make, have I ever captured, me making a quick profit? You guys have captured that with a series of live videos that I've made. But understanding that I only invest what I understand, and sometimes I miss out. But again, I'm missing out. I'm not losing money. And I cut losses short all the time. And these are just best practices that I share that has led me to make more money than losing money in the stock market. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And there's so many. Don't just let me be the only person that you guys listen to. I know because I have a little bit of a larger following than these other people that are watching. Don't underestimate anyone. There's so many people within this platform that are so much better than I am. And I'm not discouraged or in a sense ashamed to say that, right? There's nothing wrong. If anything, I'm so truly blessed that they would take the opportunity to join my group and to build off of that and build their own community or build their own following within my community or within my platform, because they built it themselves, because they are just they share their best practices. They're people that are successful in this specific niche of whatever it is that they're investing in, and they share what it is that they do. But understand, never trade based on anyone else's opinion. And I can't stress that enough, because that is the #1 mistake everyone does, and that's why 90% of people that trade in the stock market lose money, because you're investing based on someone else's opinion. You're not understanding what you're investing in, and you're not understanding the risk. Like how. No matter if it's $1 or if it's $10 or $10,000, whatever it is, I don't want to. If I have $1, like I have $5 in my pocket. What the heck? People say that it's like it's like paying tuition. Well, why pay that when you don't have to? There's paper trading, simulation trading. I always talk about different ways that doesn't require any monetary risk, especially when starting out. One of the biggest things that I want you guys to understand is if you don't have the account that can accommodate, people usually want to make like $100 to $200 a day. How are you supposed to do that with $500 or $100 in your account? Realistically, you can, especially when you're hitting 2 to 3% gains a day and seeing some losses, right? And that's a good consistent trader. How realistically are you supposed to achieve that? Why not understand that you have years to make this come to life, right? I've been trading for years, and no way do I make $1 million or anything close to that, right? But I make enough that it pays for my, just certain lifestyle, and it pays enough so that I can save enough money that I reinvest in different things. And that's what I enjoy to do. But why try to jump into it right away and go all in? And that's why people lose money so quickly. They don't understand that, look, I can do this, I can learn, and 5-10 years down the road, you don't have to continue following me. As long as you guys understand how to manage your risk and how to trade, and in the long run, it doesn't necessarily take you 5 to 10 years to understand how to trade. It's to be made. And that's why this group is so supportive. If you take the time and listen to every mistake that everyone talks about, that I promote within this group, every mistake that they talk about, that's exposure for you to not make that same mistake and create a plan on how you will not make the same mistake. And one of the most common ones is holding a penny stock overnight, trading stocks and not understanding, the potential for profit, not understanding the potential or the risk, and then also not stop lossing out. There's so many rules and so many mistakes that are consistently made that this is the group that you guys can utilize. Again, a free group. In a sense, to get a better understanding on how to be, a consistent, successful trader. We understand that with consistency, success will come. There's nothing wrong with, just taking time and learning, growing your account, saving money. Again, a lot of people don't like that word, saving money. Saving money, taking time to, save $100, $200, a month, whatever it is, whatever rate that you can save money within whatever means you live in. You start trading with $1,000, $2,000, that's your account that you're trading with now, and you have the proper knowledge on how to trade and invest that money successfully, because you've been doing that simulation trading for 2 months and you've seen success with real money. Now you can put real money, the hard-earned money that you've been working so hard for, and you can take the real knowledge that you've been proving yourself to with that simulation account that you can make money. And now you start making, your $100 to $200, a day, whatever it is that you want to make or you can make with whatever, rules you set up. So I'm sorry for going on that rant. I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand, like, as we continue to grow, I want to make sure that you guys understand the importance of just, what's it called? Just best practices being shared and making sure that you guys start off on the right foot and not someone misleading you, because that's one of the biggest things. So, and it looks like someone, let's see if I can actually see. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple of your guys' questions. And let's go ahead and just start answering them. So if you guys want to start asking questions, let me see if I can see any right now. Robert says, stop scaring your dad. I made a video today. It was just a funny video because it's Sunday and I know a lot of you guys have the day off. I just made a video of, like, with my Corvette Z06 of, like, launches and stuff like that, and my dad really doesn't like fast cars and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. This is also another thing that I want to talk about. All right, so looks like a couple questions are coming in pretty quickly. Let me talk about this. So one of the questions is, there's been two stocks that have been overhyped a lot this week. They've been doing well, but they've been very overhyped. DCTH and what was the other one? It starts with an H. HUSA, I believe. Let's see. My goodness, can't find it. All right, I'm pretty sure it's HUSA, and a lot of people have been doing well with those stocks and within our group and just talking a lot about it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's HUSA. One of the things that you guys want to stay away from, if you guys don't understand why the stock is rising, if you guys don't understand why the stock is doing good, then don't trade it. Especially when it comes to overhyped stocks, usually it means that they're overbought and they will take, there will be like a pullback and you'll see a huge jump. I want to make sure that we do our best, especially within our community of tech buds in the Facebook platform. We will start now limiting the amount of stocks that are being shared, because it can be very overwhelming and very, like, just misleading for traders once they just continue to see the same ticker symbol. That's all that they see, and then they're most likely going to invest in it, since they're easily, in a sense, just, I don't want to say like manipulated, but kind of, right? Like, if that's all you see and everyone's trading that and they're making money, and then you think that you can make money, but you get in at the very top, again, don't invest in what you don't understand. And now we will start limiting the amount of stocks. If they continue to be shared, I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that the quality and, again, the proper, like, just fundamentals of this group are kept. Hope you guys understand that. I've been receiving a lot of messages that these two stocks have been overhyped, and if have that, because with overhype, there comes manipulation, and I don't want this group to, in a sense, anything like that, especially for those that are, for those that if a couple of your posts end up getting denied within our platform, don't think that you said anything wrong or anything like that. It really comes down to us and the moderators taking a step back and making sure that we keep the quality of information being shared to be almost neutral, right? To make sure that there's no way that no swaying of what people are saying and what they can say and stuff like that. So I hope you guys understand that. Now let me go ahead and couple other questions. What the heck? Ricky, I want your body. Okay. So people are just talking about HUSA and those other stocks and stuff like that. So I have. Oh, that is something that I want to talk about. So kind of talking about last week and stuff like that. So what's the best response on the tech sector crash last week? I think that's definitely a really good topic to. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw a message. I think it's a topic that can be very important to talk about, especially because there's a lot of technology sectors that it is that we trade. Within our group, we've been trading a lot of gold-based ETFs, and we've been doing very well. And when one does well, we just switch on. If one doesn't do well, we just switch on to the other one. Down to the technology sector, when it had some last week, it had a really bad week. It comes down to you as the investor to make sense of it. So I ended up making the decision to trade Snapchat because of the huge drop that it had. I saw that it had potential, and in the long run, I think that it has the possibility based on how it's been performing for it to go back to where it was, which is above $20. I caught it when it was closer to the $18 mark, so I felt like I got in at a good buy. People got in at better buys, and that's just me. I feel like with these kind of pullbacks that these technology stocks are seeing, especially because of last week, a lot of it has to do with it also being oversold. Panic sellers, and you have to understand that. And if you don't understand that, don't trade it. And if you can't make sense of these pullbacks, then don't invest in it. But again, with the principles of investing, when you buy in at a certain price, which for me is about $19 to $20, I understand that no matter what, if it goes below a certain point, I will cut my losses, because I'm not here to hope for the best just because it's something that I believe in, but I have to stick to my plan. And that's one of the biggest things that I think people make mistakes on, is whatever you invest in, as in like these technology stocks, that if you start to see them start rising and you just make the decision to jump back in, and it drops below that support, just know that you should always have your max loss in mind. And if it goes below that or starts hitting or getting close to that max loss, then the right decision would be, in a sense, long run, and being able to manage your risk would be to cut losses and actually wait for it to properly bounce and maybe get in at a lower price. But again, sticking to your plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're going to cut your losses, regardless of what it is that you're investing. I want to hear what you guys have to say about last week's kind of just drop when it came to the technology, and I'll start kind of talking about it. Can machine learning trade stocks for you? Yes, but I believe those are now illegal. So Paulie says, I bought Apple during the tech crash Friday, so will it go back up soon? Well, if you're asking again, and this is just, if you're asking if it's going to go back up soon, why, I don't understand like why you would invest in something that you don't really understand. I understand like you can like hope that it goes back up, but have a plan with whatever it is that you're investing in. Like that's something that we really want to make sure you have instilled in you, as you need to know where you're buying, you need to know where it's realistically capable of selling, and then where you're going to cut your losses. Give me one quick second, guys. I'm actually going to take you guys with me, and I need to go get my charger. So let's go ahead and go. Good thing I have a laptop. So go up here real quick. That's so funny that so many of you guys are watching and you guys are kind of going in my house. We are live right now, so let me go ahead and get my charger. Sweet. Thank you. Alrighty. I have one of my buddies. He was working right there. I'm not too sure if you guys saw him, but what percentage am I at? 2%. So we're actually working on some, since it's been so requested, I really didn't actually think you guys would ever want anything like that. But we're working with a couple of people within TechBuds, as well as our own people. Potential like just not, I don't want to say merchandise because it's not really merchandise, but it's just clothing, kind of just t-shirts. And if you guys know anything about me, like I'm not very like, I don't know. Like I don't wear like super expensive clothes or anything like that. I really like my clothes to feel comfortable. And that's just the type of person I am. So just for those that are asking if we're going to make t-shirts and stuff like that, that is something that we're working on, not something that we're so focused on because again, that's not very important when it comes to our community. But for those that are requesting it and stuff like that, that will most likely be available by the time we launch the TechBud Solutions platform. So I just wanted to let you guys know. You guys are saying that, bye. All right, guys. Hats and beanies to you guys are requesting all these funny things. All right, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to go on the TechBud Solutions. Actually, I'm going to show you guys exactly what it is that I do. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see everything that when it comes to what it is that I do when searching for this. So I simply put a post out within the Facebook platform for TechBud Solutions. And then I simply asked you guys, you know, what is it that you guys want me to perform a technical analysis on? And this was what you guys said. We're gonna go here at TechBud Solutions, and we're gonna simply search up poll. I posted it 22 hours ago. Okay, not a surprise that DCTH and HUSA, again, being one of the top stocks that were talked about, are actually there. But Snapchat, HUSA, CYTR, AMD, and DCTH are the ones that we're going to be analyzing today. So again, if you guys want us to analyze a certain stock that you think has potential, again, be sure I'll post it hopefully at the after this live stream. I'll post it again what we should analyze for this upcoming week. Just make sure that you post it there. But I actually like getting a little bit closer to Friday of the end of the week, more relevant. I hope that makes sense. So maybe I won't do it actually after this live stream, but I'll do it more towards Friday of this upcoming week. Just so it's a little bit more relevant because again, these stocks can change from time to time and something might be in our window that wasn't before. So let's start off with DCTH since you guys requested it. Okay, didn't do anything. DCTH. Okay, so I personally have never traded this stock, and I probably won't ever trade this stock. It does not meet my criteria, and by that I mean that it is not above 50 cents. I don't like trading stocks that are true penny stocks. This was trading at like a little bit above 1 cent. So although it has jumped up a lot, and if you go by percentages, it's jumped up. So that's 331%. Just know that it's hit its resistance here and it saw this pullback. It did look like it was rising, but when it hits its peak, it's most likely going to now start seeing a downward trend. Yes, it does have the possibility of continuing to rise, but realistically, again, if you're going to invest your hard money, what do you realistically think is going to happen? If you guys can make sense of your trade, then go for it. But realistically, it's been in a consistent downward trend for 180 days. I can only imagine year to date on the huge drop that it's had. Yep, down to how it is that you guys want to invest your money. I'm not here to tell you how to invest it, but again, I trade very conservatively. I have certain criteria that I want every single stock to meet, and a penny stock that is below 50 cents is not one of those. Not one of those criteria. And the reason why, just to explain myself, why do I not want to trade a stock that's less than 50 cents? Even 50 cents is pretty sketchy to me. And it comes down to managing your risk, which is a very important, I think, component for myself. If I get in, let's say, because it looks like it has a support here at about 602. If I get in at 602 and then I put my stop loss right below it, a fraction, and I just put my stop loss at, when it goes below 6, out at whatever 5, or let's say it takes a sudden dip like it did like way over here, right? And it takes a dip with this fraction of a cent. Look at I don't know if you guys can see the percentage that it calculates right here, but look at the drop that it has. That's 8%. If it comes down to managing your risk and making sure that your profits are always greater than your losses, that when a stock is so volatile, and if it moves half of a cent 8% or 5%. Anything more than 2.5% is, I think, too much of a loss when it comes to, at least for me as more of a conservative trader, to trade. And because it's so difficult, because it's such a low value stock, that when it comes down to percentages, yes, it does have more potential for profit, but with more risk comes, comes more risk, right? And usually with these stocks, you tend to see, than my own experience. So that's simply it, guys. Let's go to AMD. It had a really nice pullback. And what I mean by really nice pullback is this is actually stock that we talked about in our last Sunday stock talk. I'm not, saying that, what we choose within our community always does good, but guys, we killed it last week, and I want to congratulate each and every one of you guys. All of you guys that decided to, choose. Let's see if I can actually pull it up. That I asked what you guys wanted me to, in a sense, analyze. CYTR, AMD, NAK, JNAC. These were all huge movers. Every single one of them for these 4 stocks out of the 5 were all huge movers that just made massive gains. If you guys see from $10, $10.40. So the potential for profit for last week was 25%. Realistically, again, a lot of you wrote it, I think, when it went above $13 and had a stop loss there. So you guys had plans, you guys understood everything, but it had a huge pullback. It had a huge drop. And why did it bounce at $11.60? Again, guys, it's all about trends, at least when it is that I trade stuff. I'm more of a technical trader. I've been getting more into trying to get into like momentum trading. But again, an old resistance, right, where it struggled to go above was at about, $11.60. Do you guys see this point right here? $11.60. That's the resistance, and then drop back here to the support at $10.70 and held above that support, right? As it continued to rise, it broke that resistance that it had here, and then it just spiked right through, hit the resistance that it had at 1340, and then saw a huge pullback. Where was it going to bounce? It bounced right at, right above 1160, which is 1164. Isn't that funny how old resistance levels become new support levels? That's a trend that we always talk about within this group. Now that it bounced at that support, just know that that is the new support that I'm personally looking at. And the reason why is because, again, old resistance levels become new support levels. So when it comes down to, market open on Monday, if it continues to see a downward trend and it starts to show signs that it bounced at $11.60, that makes sense to me why it bounced why it's starting to bounce and see an upward trend within 1160 because of the old resistance that it had. And that's why I can make sense of it when it bounces how it did here. And if I wait for it to go above 1170 to catch it at the bounce, then that makes sense to me. My plan would be, if it bounces again and it gets a little bit closer to this 1160 support, I would get in closer to 1170. And the reason why is I don't care about getting that at the lowest point, and that's something that I talk about all the time. I want to make sure that I get in when it bounces. I want to make sure that I get in like above EMA, above SMA, just something that indicates that it's showing signs of upward momentum. And in doing that is, I would have not gotten in at 1163. I would have gotten in, maybe a little bit above 1180 when it shows that it's showing consistent upward momentum. Do you want to invest your money, when it's showing downward momentum? Or do you want to invest your money when it's showing that it's rising? Well, it makes sense to me that you want to invest in something that's appreciating in value. And that only makes sense, right? But understand that, it's not always going to continue to rise. So have a good understanding on where you're going to be planning on selling. If you saw that it bounced at 1163 and the support overall is at 1160 and you bought in at 1180, then cutting your losses below 1160 to me makes sense because that's the support, that's where it bounced, and if it drops below that, then that means it broke support. So I understand the bottom price, I understand the where I'm buying in, and I understand where I want to sell. And where I want to sell, well, again, it had a previous resistance at about 1220. So that would have been my ideal sell point. I could have followed with a trailing stop loss or a stop loss, whatever it is that you want to call it. And I could have locked in profits at 1220. Well, Ricky, why did it, it went all the way up to 1238. Why wouldn't you sell there? Again, you don't know that's going to happen. You have to make sense of your trade before you invest in. You need to know where you're buying, where you're going to sell that realistically makes sense, and where you're going to cut your losses. Don't care about what it can do, but understand what it has done and what you plan on selling on, what you plan on doing when you invest in this stock, and stick to it. Understand your buy point, understand your sell point, and understand your, your stop loss, and stick to that plan. don't get overhyped, don't get greedy, and lock in profits. That's one of the biggest, I think, best practices that I can share, because like myself and many other traders that have made the mistake of getting greedy, hoping that it continues to rise, and then end up having to lose money because it started seeing a downward trend, and then you just wanted to go back up to where it was before so you can lock in profits, but then you end up having to stop loss out because it dropped below the purchase price or the support, whatever it is that you're invested in. So that's one of the biggest things that I want you guys to understand, the importance of locking in profits, having a plan, and sticking to it. So what I'm going to be looking forward to, this upcoming week, it looks like it has a pretty solid support at 12:30, as you guys can see that after pre-market or after market hours, it held above 12:30. If we see another pullback, I'm going to wait for the bounce at 1160 and try to get in when it goes above EMA, SMA, or above a really solid support, which would be around 1180. And then again, sell back at most likely 1220, because that's what really makes sense to me, as that's an ideal resistance. But if it continues to hold above 1230, then again, that's a new support. And if it continues to bounce and starts showing signs of upward momentum, then we might be going back to, again, the first resistance here at 1260, the other resistance here at 1280, and then the other one at about $13. So let's go ahead and move on. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I don't know why his things keep getting rejected. I wonder what he's saying. Can I pull Dink really on the Ducati? I'm not too sure if you guys knew that. I guess I haven't released the video, but I sold the Ducati. I guess I'm really bad at uploading these type of videos that don't have to do with trading, just because I really don't have enough time to edit videos. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, the Ducati's gone. I have a CBR 1000 now. If you guys are a part of the mobile investment group within TechBot Solutions that deals with buying and selling, automobiles and motorcycles, or all different sorts of things, that's the group to join if you want to get into that. What's the other one? CYTR. CYTR. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys again for putting time aside on your Sunday. I'm going to try to make it quick and start wrapping up here, just because I want to make sure you guys get back to studying or spending time with your loved ones, whatever it is that you guys want to do on this Sunday, enjoying your day off. So I just want to thank you guys again for taking time aside and really dedicating it to this group. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. It looks like it's actually hitting a resistance. So if you guys see within this day, CYTR, somewhat a hit of a resistance to end up closing after market hours at 59 cents. But again, that doesn't really mean anything. No real movement or actual purchase or sales or transactions done within that time frame. I'm saying most likely, let me change this. Drawing, I'm going to go here and go to price line. Okay. And resistance. So support, resistance, that's what makes sense to me. It seems to hold pretty well. So if it bounces, again, that's the support at 54 cents, but I most likely wouldn't get in it until it holds above, almost 54.5, because that's more of a solid support. So, this is kind of sketchy. If it actually bounces and holds above, the 545, then that would be a little bit, again, more ideal, since it's showing signs of more upward momentum. And then an ideal resistance would be, about 57 to 59. Why? Well, because that's, I guess, where the old support was. And like we know, old supports become new resistance levels. Let me scooch on a little bit back. Let me go 2 days back. And yep, that is it. So it used to be trading between 65 to about 60. So resistance and support. It broke that and is now trading between 54 to 60. So does it have potential to continue rising? Yes, if it breaks above, this 60-cent resistance, then it has the potential to continue to rise back up, and that would be a nice little profit margin. But realistically, let's jump in a little bit further back. And it actually looks like it has a pretty solid support. Let's continue going a little bit back, maybe 20 days. Yeah, so it looks like it was way overhyped. I actually do remember CYTR, and it had a huge drop at the old support that it had around here at 50 cents, and it started to rise, saw a little pullback. And it looks like, as you guys can see in this EMA line, that it's starting to rise again. So if it continues this upward momentum, then maybe selling at this resistance at 65 cents would be ideal. RSI indicator shows a little bit more closer, since it's at like 55 RSI, more to the overbought side. So I would wait somewhat for a little pullback, and then for an indicator that it's showing that it's bouncing. And then if that, I can identify where I would like to buy, where I would cut my losses, and then sell most likely back at where it's currently at 59 cents. Just to lock in that quick profit. So that could be something to follow up with in the morning. HUSA. And again, guys, with whatever stocks that we're analyzing, please be sure to do your own homework. And wow, this one was definitely way overhyped. Hit $1 from 30. My goodness. And I just remember this stock being just thrown back and forth within our group. Again, this thing came from 15 cents. Do you guys really think this stock was going to always, continue to hold at $1, especially when let me actually see a little bit further. No, add decent volume, did it not? Yeah, 61,000. Let's see. Yeah, just way too overpriced, way overhyped, hit its resistance, and then now we're seeing huge pullbacks. I would really see this to start now seeing a downward trend. It looks like it's been overhyped before, or manipulated with these pump and dumps, and it might see again another pull. But realistically, I'd say if you're up on HUSA, lock in profits or follow with the trailing stop loss, just because as quick as it went up, it looks like it went down. If you guys could see this huge, let's see. This huge rise that it had, and then started having huge pullbacks and then huge drops from there. So right when it went below, I think $1, dropped very quickly, didn't hold above $1 for very long. And then when it dropped below 90 cents, that's when it had these huge drops. And that's what really hurts me, because I know a lot of people ended up jumping into the hype of HUSA when they really didn't understand it. And that's what I want to make sure you guys stay away from. If you guys don't understand what you're investing in, then don't trade it. It's as simple as that, right? It looks like there's a support, resistance, but other than that, I personally, I'm probably not going to trade HUSA just because of how over manipulated I think this current stock is, and it's most likely going to break the support anyway. So I'll set my alert. So I'm just going to right click here, create alert, and then if it drops below 67 cents, and then continue from there. Snap. Let's talk about Snapchat. 18 cents, dropped to lows of 17.88. I actually called this one out on Friday. If you guys joined our live stream, bounced at 17.88 and actually ended up holding above or hitting that resistance at 18.20 during pre-market hours, which is great. After market hours, it was showing signs of upward momentum. And again, a lot of these huge drops because of the horrible day that it had for being a technology company, had huge drops. But again, a lot of panic sellers, RSI indicating that it's more on the oversold side, which usually indicates good bounces. And it did just that. So hopefully a lot of you guys were able to lock in some good profits since it squeezed up to 11.30, since that was a resistance or an old support. If you guys could see that during pre-market hours, that makes sense to you guys, right? It was an old support, which now becomes a new resistance level. It's now approaching the resistance. And if it breaks above resistance, then 11.30 becomes a new support as it continues to rise. So again, just talking about trends and stuff like that. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Realistically, there's another resistance at $19 that I would like to, it's like $18.90 that I would like to sell out with my position on Snapchat. But again, my position isn't huge when it comes to Snapchat. It's just something that all these technology stocks, especially when there's a lot of panic sellers, as you get to see. If it doesn't make sense to you guys, then don't trade it. But really just because Tesla's also considered somewhat of a technology company. That's so funny. Yeah. So, wow, there's actually a lot of you. I'm sorry, I actually didn't notice. Thank you guys. There's so many of you guys that are joining us for our live stream. It looks like a big focus because, again, margin of potential profit that these stocks have created, as in like these technology companies. If you guys don't understand it, again, don't trade it. But because these technology companies that are more like and some multi-billion-dollar companies like Facebook and Snapchat saw huge drops, huge percentage drops, like 3 to 5%. And these are stable, multi-billion-dollar companies. And if it makes, if it makes sense to you on these huge drops, when it has like, panic sellers or whatever it is, when they see huge pullbacks, if it makes sense to you and you can indicate a good buy point, a good sell point, and where you would cut your losses in the sense of managing your risk, if that makes sense to you, trading these as almost like a penny stock or a low cap stock, it makes sense to me because I understand gappers, and usually when they have huge drops, they end up going back to where they were. but because I'm buying at the bottom, I can sell for a profit, and everyone else is most likely just going to go back to where they were if they ended up holding. That makes sense to me, and that's actually a style of trading that we've done multiple times within TechBud Solutions. We wait for huge drops, and that's why I say I love chasing red stocks, not because I want to lose money, but because when they see huge drops and then they begin to bounce and start to rise, on that rise is where I buy. And again, it becomes to being very patient. I'm very conservative with, I really wait for the bounce. I make sure that it starts indicating signs of upward momentum, and then I sell back at where it was before, which was, the old, now going to be most likely a new resistance. And if it continues to rise and goes beyond that, that's great, but I did my part. I locked in my profits, and then I move on to the next stock. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Other than that, let's go ahead and see. Oh, Kyle Valance says, Ricky, did you end up averaging down on your position on Snapchat, or did you keep your original price? And this is because I bought in my live stream at 18.30, if I'm not mistaken, on my original purchase price for Snapchat, and it hit lows of 17.88. So what I did is I didn't buy any more Snapchat until it started to see an increase in price. So after it bounced at 17.88, I actually didn't get alerted. I got alerted that it went below $18, but then I put another alert when it goes above $18, and I started to buy as it started to rise. I didn't care too much about the drop, but I wanted to focus on the increase, because that's what makes sense to me, to invest in something that's going to appreciate. I made the mistake of getting in too early, but I'm not going to make the mistake and continue to invest in something that's depreciating in value. And that's just a technique. Instead of averaging down, I average up as it continues to rise, so I can add more shares. Again, still at a lower price than I originally bought at. So when it goes back to 18.30, I can actually sell for a profit because I'm buying as it's going up. So thank you guys for everything that it is that you guys do. I think those are most of the questions that you guys have. There's a lot of questions that you guys are asking and stuff like that. If you guys want to direct message me, again, with the TechBud Solutions group chat, direct message me within that platform, and I'd love to answer your questions. Again, the link is provided for you down below, so you guys can join the Facebook group. We'd love to have you there. But other than that, if you guys haven't watched, if you guys, like 2 or 3 days ago, I uploaded a challenge video. It actually didn't do as good as I thought it would. I guess I didn't position it right, but I'm giving away, again, I understand that it's not a lot of money, and I'm gonna end it like this, is I'm giving away $100 to, I really want to focus more on someone that needs it, because I know $100 isn't much, but I talked about how when I was 14 years old, I started my first company with less than $100, and it was a tech deck kind of fingerboard company, and I bought some, like the Bondo to make the molds. I bought some veneer, some glue and stuff like that from just eBay and Home Depot, and these little fingerboards, and I grew that company to making a stable source of income that really allowed me to kind of just spark that interest. And it's that spark that, in a sense, I want to, cause to you guys. So for any of you guys that have any ideas for a business, for how this $100 can help you, interest into this potential venture that you might want to get into, I want to hear your story. I want to talk to you guys. Please go ahead and watch that video. If you guys have about, I think, 10 to 15 minutes, I'm not too sure. So if you guys don't have time, I completely understand. But benefit from it, feel free to share it with them. If you don't, then you definitely don't have to, guys. It was just something that I'm taking this trip to Spain. I'm going to be in the airport for 24 hours almost. So that's something that I'll talk about probably tomorrow, just to let the team know how this is going to work when I'm going to be, I think, 8 or 9 hours ahead. I'm still going to be doing live streams, and I'm still going to be, trading and doing everything that is that we do. Our Sunday stock talks might be a little bit more difficult, since I think it's 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning right now, but it's not like I sleep a lot anyway. So that might not make much of a difference, but I want to enjoy this trip, but I want to enjoy it with the thousands of you that I can bring along with me, because hopefully in the near future, maybe we can, I don't want to promise anything, but maybe we can travel together as a group, or get a group of 20, 30 members. I know there's thousands of us, but 20 or 30 members, we can schedule something together, and I'd love to travel. We can get a huge mansion, since it's so cost effective. Again, I don't like paying enormous amounts of money. And that's why, going in groups, it's actually so affordable for those that can make, the transition. And I'd love to bring you guys along. So if you guys can like and subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. I actually think we just broke 22,000 subscribers. So that's amazing. But the most amazing part is the supportive community and environment that we have. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and the support. Just remember, just continue supporting not just me, but everyone else within this community. And although a lot of people might be asking repetitive questions, just know that they might not know that, that question has been asked or answered before. I see that I'm getting a couple DMs already, so I'm going to get to that. I do have a lot of work still to go for this Sunday, and I wish you guys the best. We're going to be live for our pre-market analysis. That's going to be at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time at 6 o'clock, so 30 minutes before the market opens, wherever it is that you guys are. So I hope you guys can join us, and I'm super excited for this upcoming week because participating, all of us, because I'm going to take you guys along, and we can do whatever it is that you guys want me to do over there, as long as my girlfriend's okay with it. Thank you guys again. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.